So, hi everyone, starting with the session, and this session is a debrief session, a success story wherein we have Siddharth with us, and we'll understand the journey here of Siddharth from a 645, which is 90th percentile on the Focus Edition, to a 99th percentile that's translated to a 725, right? And we'll understand what all things, what was the journey all about, what was the preparation, sectional order, what was the day-to-day preparation plan, overall preparation plan, similarly understanding how was the test day experience of our student Siddharth, and then what were his challenges if he has faced any. So that will be the structure of this session today. Okay, let's now understand and start from Siddharth itself, that how was your this thing. So starting Siddharth with you, what was the starting with your introduction, what was the background and everything, so that we have a good understanding, and then we'll proceed with the session.
All right. Hi, I'm Siddharth Saridevi. I live in Gurgaon. I'm a graduate from the IPM program of IIM Ranchi. I've graduated last year with a BBA degree. And after that, I worked at Kotak Mahindra Asset Management as an intern for 3 months, where I've helped around with the sales and operations team. After which, I've moved to Salad Days, which is actually surprisingly they've received funding in their Series A round a couple of days ago. I've worked as an assistant manager of business development, which I had to leave due to personal reasons, and I was a uh, so after that, I'm working around on a couple of personal projects of mine and studying for the CFA Level 2 exam.
Okay. Okay. So great. So that means done with the experience part. You have some level of experience or amount of experience with you. Not very directly, but yes, you have. Uh, as an intern, you have done a lot of things around with the companies. So that's what I could understand, right? We have that understanding uh, with you.
Uh,
Okay, perfect. Now, why, Siddharth, why GMAT? Why you thought of the GMAT as your next step towards your future journey?
all right. GMAT was not an initial thought, I have to admit. I did prepare for CAT like most BBA students, most students in the final year. I started my preparation a year before the actual exam, which is in 2023. But my CAT experience was not very great because CAT is a one-time thing. It occurs once in a year, and it's a make it or break it kind of situation. That didn't work out well, despite scoring decently well in my mocks, and I basically flunked CAT. After
Okay.
which I also realized that I could not stay at IIM Ranchi any longer because I've grown out of that place. I've done what I could at that place, and it was time for me to aim higher.
Okay.
So after, following which the only logical decision was appearing for GMAT and applying to Masters in Finance programs abroad because that's my area of interest.
Okay, fair enough. So that means you thought that it's not very conducive for you, right? Why? Because it's a 1 day event, right? Which
Yeah.
assesses you the CAT one, and then probably you'll again have to wait and for the next year. So why not understand the GMAT, and then you have decided to go ahead with respect to your GMAT preparation and going with that
Right.
particular.
Uh, yeah. So, and also, it was also that, by only looking at Indian colleges, I was restricting my horizon to the country. I also want to do a lot of work in my country, but it doesn't mean, we're a very isolated nation also, right? We live in a global ecosystem, and to survive in such an ecosystem, I have to expand my horizons worldwide. So why
Okay.
restrict
So,
myself to the best in my country when I can target and potentially get to a better college, globally?
okay, got that. So getting the exposure was your
Mhm.
was the prime this thing which you thought that let me have the global experience as well with respect to
Mhm.
not only considering the Indian this thing exposure. So to get
Very much.
your things in place, you have decided with the GMAT, considering all the factors you have just mentioned.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
Got that. Now, let's understand, Siddharth, what were the, have you given any GMAT prior to getting a, we understood that it's a 645, right? So what was
Right.
the experience, or what was the score breakup, if you can tell that what was the previous 645, 725, there's a huge improvement, right? And from 90th percentile to a 99th percentile, if you can just tell us what were the sectional improvements, be
Uh,
it a quant, how much it
hmm.
got improved, how well it got improved, DI, how much it got improved. That helps us understand more about the scenario.
All right. So my first attempt, I do not remember the correct breakdown, but it was roughly 85 in quants, 82 in verbal, and 79 in DI, I believe. I'm not sure if
Okay,
those are the right numbers, 'cause it's been quite a long
it
time.
did
From
found
that,
this out.
I've got into from that I've got into an 88 in quants and an 85 in verbal and DI.
Oh, so good improvement. I could say that 2-3 points improvement in the quant, similarly 2-3 points improvement. But DI went from 79 to 85, so 6 point improvement. I believe that's a huge improvement,
Mhm.
which went far greater, taking your score from a 90th. So that might have played an important role, not the only section which might have played, but
Mhm.
majorly DI might have played an important role in your overall score here. Okay, any
Right.
tell us what about any challenges, which means you have 645, 725. So what are the challenges which you thought that let me take this head on and then get to that 99th percentile or greater than that particular score? Any challenges which you thought?
Uh,
Time management,
I
something around
think
that? Yeah.
uh, the major issue that I've had was with strategy. Right?
Okay.
So it was strategy and time management, which were huge issues for me personally. Now, in my first attempt, again, the same thing which happened in CAT happened once again, where I was a bit stuck up on a few questions, and those took a lot of my time. I could not move on to the harder questions, the more scoring questions. Right? And then, the effect of verbal seeped into DI, where I've basically uh, screwed up several of my initial questions, and then the last ones, I didn't even see them. I've realized that that cannot work out if I have to get a better score. Right? So I worked a lot on my strategy going forward after my first attempt, where most of my study sessions involved taking mocks and then analyzing them. I did not attempt individual questions anymore, but rather put them on a back hold and then attempted on my strategy and my timing a lot. So the
Okay.
major, coming back to your question, sorry to divert, the major issues that I faced was timing and strategy and calming my nerves.
Okay, fair enough. So strategy played an important role as compared to I could see that the preparation was in place, but what should be the strategy around to get to that makes a lot of so smart work. I will believe could be this thing to how to get to that particular target with that particular efforts which you have in place.
Mhm.
That efforts give the result as compared to doing the hard work, taking a
Right,
lot of things, but you decided to understand things quite well with respect to how to approach and get to that particular target score. That's what
right,
it is, right? And with respect to time management, which
right,
you said, that let me understand that
right.
time management to improve and uh, get past that particular challenge which you had.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. CL helped me a lot in this regard as well, in helping me realize that the exam was not just the numbers and the theory which was involved. There are a lot of factors which go around into getting you a successful test score. For instance, the first thing would obviously be the skill that you have or the competency in the subject material, whether it be DI, analyzing graphs and all, or algebra or arithmetic or verbal. That's a huge component for sure. But it's also your approach to the exam as a whole and your attitude when attempting it. So the personality development is also a huge thing, and I think most people, lack out on that when actually preparing for the test, where it's all, practice, 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 and not, you know, how to actually practice and how to actually attend the paper. And there's
The
a
mind.
interesting article somewhere called "Cracking the Teacher's Password." So you have to
Hmm.
crack the exam's password when you're attempting it, which
Attempting it,
involves,
right?
having the right mindset when approaching the paper.
Right. So mindset plays an important role as compared to just understanding things superficially. You have to go into depth of that particular frame of mind and then getting things sorted.
Totally, totally.
So yes, mind again. The this thing has to be there. The mindset that makes a lot of difference. Okay, so Siddharth, what about we understood that helped. So why CL? Why the next this thing is why you took that, because there are other competitors or something like that. Why you took CL as your partner or your for the coaching? Why you took that decision?
Uh, Going back to my undergraduate entrance exam preparation, CL, helped me a lot at that time. Most of my friends took CL then, and I just joined in with CL coaching. I was in Gurgaon, and that worked out incredibly well for me. Apart from IPMAT, I've also given DUJAT, and I got an All India rank 94 over there, which is a very good score, and I attribute that majorly to CL and the coaching that they've given me. Aritra Sir and Shilpa ma'am were huge influences. And then, after that, for some reason, for CAT preparation, we've tested out the waters in a couple of different places, talked to a few people, and we've went with time that uh, that did not work out very well for me because first of all, I was taking online classes. That as a medium itself was very uh, not conducive to learning. It was very distracting, especially because I was living in a hostel with a couple of my roommates. It was not a conducive learning environment. Plus, the faculty also were not very interested. Maybe it was the people that I got, but not the entire faculty of theirs. But the people that I've received were not very helpful because
Got
they showed very little interest also, which is not great when you're there to learn and the teacher itself does not want to teach you. It's a bit annoying. So I
it.
went
I
back.
could,
Uh, sir?
yeah, I could understand that it was their initial experience with CL, which
Yeah,
helped you make that decision, which was this to take
uh,
forward with respect to the GMAT, right?
yeah,
That was
majorly,
the
majorly. Yeah, we've also attended a couple of CL online sessions, online introductory sessions about why GMAT, etc. And people over there have also been very helpful. And we've gone to the head office in what was it, Dwarka, I think. We went to the head office in the Delhi NCR region. We talked to a few
oh,
people over there, and their pitch sold us out. It was incredible, and we felt that it was the best way to go forward. We,
okay,
as in me
fair.
and my parents. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Got a good
Yeah.
understanding about your decision making. Okay, fair enough. Now let's understand the next part. What you started with your preparation. You have used the resources. You have understood the concepts. Something around that, right? Now it is how was your test day experience? Means you have done a lot of things. So before that, have you given the mocks or something and what were the score range which you were getting and how much it deviated from the mean score? That's what it is. How much?
Okay. Uh, so for my first GMAT experience, I've not given a lot of mocks. I took the four extra mock extension pack offered by MBA.com. So that was helpful, but I didn't analyze them that well. And I've also done a couple of mocks from CL. Now, though those were tremendously helpful also. But the problem was I was not analyzing it that well, so I flunked during the actual exam. Now, after that, what helped me a lot more was having a proper mock strategy when attempting the exam. I've realized that whatever my mock range was, which went from 585 to a 705, which is not even close to my actual score was. The mock range was the deviation, the standard deviation, the range was very huge. And the major reason for that was not because I lacked competency in the subject, but rather my mind was wandering when I was attempting the questions.
Okay.
I did not see how interrelated each question was, even though they were dealing with different subjects. So
Okay.
the way I attempt question one might influence how I attempt question three or question four,
That's true.
especially with respect to time management. Right. I take up a lot of time in MSR questions. I won't have easier time to answer easier graph questions towards the end in DI. So that was the way it worked. So a major thing which helped me over there was realizing first there was a clear ability. There was not a ability gap because there was somewhere my competency is somewhere, my potential is somewhere, and my actual score is somewhere. Right.
That's true.
So it was not a lack in competency, but rather my approach to the exam and how I was attempting it. Now, realizing that gap means that I can actually, understand better about how to improve over there. Right. So I've understood that this gap exists. I know the subject, but I'm not able to answer it well. I'm not able to give the questions the justice. So over there, I've understood where exactly I'm falling short. So, CL also gives you a time, how much time you spent attempting each answer, how difficult that was. And if you actually maintain a spreadsheet over here, see what section you're, falling back on, how much time you're spending on each section, you know, and then break it down with, between hard, easy, and medium. If you have that analysis in front of you, this is exactly where I'm falling short. I'm falling short,
Okay.
say 705 level questions in DI. I'm good at the medium and difficult questions in quants, but I'm falling short on the easier questions in algebra. So I understood where exactly I'm falling short. I'm not saying that those were my exact things, but you have a proper analysis evaluation. So that was my mock range and how I
Got
address that
got it.
issue.
So you understood that there is some thing which was the gap, right? You actually was way higher than what was been uh, with respect to the mocks, but you understood that there are some gaps which, if filled with respect to understanding the sections, with respect to understanding the difficulty, with respect to time management, if you approach very systematically, I believe you thought that it will be more easier as compared to. So the mocks played a good role there to understand and analyze your the gaps or the potential to score that particular score which you have achieved.
Right.
Okay, fair enough. Got that. Now, coming to that day-wise preparation. So, have you followed any particular day-wise experience that let me do first on quant morning, something around evening, verbal, or was it structured or an unstructured preparation which you have followed? Number of questions
It
also a day.
was not very structured, honestly. Now,
Hmm.
I have to preface this by saying that am in a very privileged position because I have experienced attempting competitive or answering attempting competitive exams before. Like I've given a lot of exams in my undergraduate level, and then for masters as well. Now, and I've also prepared questions and helped other IPMAT test providers make their question sets. So I have a lot of experience in that regard. So I did not need to have a proper strategy saying, algebra is my weak spot. I have to attend that,
Okay.
allocate certain amount of time for that. Or
What
verbal
about
critical reasoning, I was falling short. I did not do that. That
What
is a
about
very
DI?
smart approach to
Hmm.
DI was a major issue for me. But even over there, I've understood that it was not the graphs or anything which was falling short. It was just that I was over analyzing. You know,
Hmm.
if a
Understanding.
if a if a bar graph has a label which says 97, that is 97. You don't have to convert it into 97% and then remove the 100 niche say and then do something else. I was
Hmm.
over analyzing everything, which is why I was falling short of time, which is why I couldn't answer the easier questions.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So it was
Got it.
so my time man so day-to-day schedule was not very structured over there, especially in my first phase of preparation for my first GMAT. Because after the first GMAT, I focused on my work again and then attended the exam again after I've left my office. I had a week's break, and in that week, I've only done mocks. I've done mocks morning and evening, twice a day. So morning around 9:30 at the same time when my exam was scheduled. And in the evening, after analyzing my first mock for a bit after lunch, I've attended the second mock towards
Got
evening,
it.
late yeah, evening,
Got
around
it.
6:30. So that was my
Your
schedule for the past week.
Yes, your initial preparation helped you a lot, right? But then you have to just fill those gaps, which you filled with that 1 week in hand at hand, right? And you have analyzed each and every mock very carefully, giving two mocks, one morning, one evening, and in between, understanding the mistakes and then strategizing for the next particular mock. So good hard work, I would say that at that
Yeah,
time when you were just approaching the exam, so you got a good understanding
mm,
of your particular score. Okay, fair enough.
right.
How was the test day experience overall? Quick understanding, was it good, conducive? You used the calculator, you used the notepad. What was that?
For my test taking, uh, on the actual day of the exam, the one thing that I think I've done quite well was choosing the exact same test center because I had less variables to play with and less things which influenced me, which could, have me screw up on the exam day. Right? So it was only the exam which mattered on the final day. So the testing experience was actually quite professional. It was done by Pearson. Right. So they maintain the entire premise. They've offered a storage cabin facility where I could keep my bags and my belongings. Everything was very professional. They've given me spare markers and a erasable dry erase sheet, a board. It had like 9 papers or something like that. And then the calculator, this is where I want to emphasize especially because most people don't realize that you can use your number pad when using the on-screen calculator. That is a huge lifesaver because you can use black slashes and the asterisk mark to multiply or divide it. So I think over there realizing that was a huge benefit. And apart from that, I think most GMAT test centers are incredibly well maintained. The staff is very professional. So there are very few things which can actually deviate you from your performance. They also offer you earmuffs and headphones to block out external noise. So it's a very quite peaceful environment.
Okay, so you can concentrate on your this thing test, giving you the laminated sheets with the markers, and the markers were going good, which I could understand, as well as the main point was the calculator, the on-screen calculator. You don't need to go back to that particular on-screen calculator to type in the numbers. You can use your keyboard in order to type in the calculations which you require to do. So that helped you a lot, save your time, I believe, on the test day. Okay, fair enough.
Right.
Got that. What about the sectional strategy? What have you approached and seen to that? How much was what was it? Well, it started with quant, verbal, or a DI, and why you took that particular order. Uh, could you help that
Okay.
understand that?
Uh, I've I've realized two things first over here. One is that I'm good at quants. I can answer quants even if you wake me up at 2 o'clock at night. Right? That was my strong suit. So keeping that towards the end would do me justice. Because GMAT is an adaptive test. Your sections are also very adaptive. Your test score in the first section might influence the test score in second. Now, this is a hotly debated topic online. but I feel from my experience it might be true. So putting quants towards the end was fixed. I was not deviating from that. Uh, what mattered now was it DI first or verbal first? I chosen verbal first and stuck to it. Firstly, because cat has a similar pattern, and I've just followed that because giving a dozen or 2 dozen mocks at that time, I already have that mind frame, set. And second, it was much easier to get into the zone when I had verbal to begin with. Now, going back a couple of minutes behind when I was talking about having the right mindset, on the exam day or when I was giving any mock, I did this thing where for 20 minutes before the exam, I read a book. It, and I read an analytical philosophy ki book. I've read meditations, uh, especially because reading an analytical book means that you're not just reading for pleasure, but you're analyzing, you're trying to understand what the author is trying to say in each paragraph, in each sentence, which is what the GMAT requires you to do in the verbal section. So it was already pre-training while giving the exam. So warming up my mind was much easier with verbal. So I stuck with verbal. I like verbal, break, and then DI and quants. Because DI also needed a break to get rid of the verbal uh,
Verbal
baggage.
mindset. Right.
Yeah.
So understood. Right. So that's a good this thing. Why? Because quant, I could understand that what you have just shared, that quant is more of your strength, right? So that indicates or concludes that you require a lesser efforts in quant as compared to the verbal, which might require, and the efforts or the energy which you have at the beginning of the exam, that might be more as compared to the towards the end of the exam. So what you have concluded, that let me put all my energy first on the verbal, where the thoughts and everything which you have structured with respect to the books which you are studying, analyzing the paragraphs, analyzing the RC passages, which helped you with the verbal, starting with the verbal, then took a break for get the right mindset for the DI. Good strategy here again, to get started with the DI, and then you have started with the next section of DI, and then quant was fairly easy,
Right.
which you suggested earlier. Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough.
Hmm.
Got an understanding here as well. Now, what about the next phase of your this thing, the after
All
GMAT?
right.
Now you have already given, right, and
Right. So
for
I
abroad.
have been applying
Yeah.
to yeah, I'm applying to colleges abroad, primarily for their masters in finance programs and potentially in their combined masters plus PhD wali programs. Especially because I've realized that finance is my thing. I want to just do finance. So I'm not
Okay.
applying to MIM programs, but rather MFin. That is that is what I'm going to do going forward. And I believe simultaneously, I'm also planning on working for the next couple of months until college actually begins, and I start receiving calls from them. So that is the next step. And also,
Okay.
worst case scenario, if things don't work out, I have a decent GMAT score to fall back on. I don't have to attempt it again. I'll work for a couple of years and then
Yeah.
use the same score to apply to better colleges.
Got it. So a good this thing again, thought process here, that you'll be applying, right, to the top B schools which you have mentioned, and then there is one more path which you have, that because the validity is 5 years, so you have a good chance of getting a good years of experience. Right now you are a fresher, so then you can probably go with some more experience, 2 or 3 years of experience with this particular GMAT score which you have achieved, and then uh, take the necessary actions, whatever it's required at that point of time. Is that, yeah? Okay. Any
Yes.
general advice? Any this thing? Last 1 minute. This thing. Anything which you want to share?
Yeah, a couple of things. First is to relax, chill out. It's not the end of the world if the exam doesn't go well or according to your plans. It might go better also. Relax, to just be in the zone while you're attempting it and chill out. Second, I would uh, tell people to, know who you are, understand why you're actually given the exam, what you plan on doing forward. Uh, because my basic philosophy is that, you aim for the stars, you'll reach the moon. I don't want anyone to just have a limit their perspective or aim low. Aim for the best, you'll get somewhere at least. It worked out for me quite well, and it has been working out for me. And I suggest that to people as well. Aim for the stars, you'll reach the moon. So those are my two tips. Chill out,
Okay,
know who you are,
fair.
and aim for the
Right.
stars.
Yeah, chilling out, it's not the end of the day, it's not the end of the world, right? So chill out
Yeah.
and get your things very well. Otherwise, it gives you a burnout, right?
Mm.
Do not get into that phase. It's life and it goes as it is. You would be more productive if taking breaks, chilling it out,
Mm.
understanding things well makes you feel more confident as compared to not having a correct set of mind, right? Okay,
Right.
with this, I believe we have a good session and we understood a lot of things from our student Siddharth, and we wish all the best for your future endeavors, and we'll be connecting with you for your next steps even. So all the best, Siddharth, and take care.
Thank you.
This was a very nice session,
Yeah.
and let's meet sometime. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Have a good day.